Today we're going to scrap out an electrical panel, or rather two electrical panels, one that's pretty much done. Just have a few little bits to do here. And there's a fair bit of copper in these. I see guys online just scrapping them whole as steel, and it puzzles me because a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have a fair bit of copper in them, especially the older ones like this one will. So here we go. We'll give it a shot. Basically, if you have a red Robertson around, the red or green Robertson, I guess. That one's green. Usually, there we go. And if you've got a drill with a bit on it, that's a lot better. But for sake of video, we'll just take it apart slowly. But if you've got a drill with the bit on it, it goes a lot faster. But anyway, there's a hefty piece of copper right there, and it took just 2 screws to get it out. So, and this appears to not be anything. And this, sometimes you'll find some of this plastic, depending upon the circuit, will have copper embedded in it, or it'll be embedded with a tar, depending upon the circuit panel. 2 pieces already, and some good weight there already. Get this bar. So if you're melting copper, doing copper bullion, this is a good way to get pieces that are good for your melting process there. And we'll just clean this piece up, seeing as we're here. So if you've got just a flathead, a green Robertson, sometimes they're red. This piece will come out here, and it's tied in just below here. So, but we'll remove it by taking this out here. Hopefully it's not rusted in too badly. Oh, it might be. Oh, we're gonna have to hit that with some WD-40 and leave it for a little bit. So most of that's already done. Just have that piece to remove. But you can see it's pretty easy overall to get a good handful of copper out of them fairly quickly. So anyway, we'll take a look at this little panel. I'll get rid of the big panel here so you can see the little panel. Okay. So basically you've got to pop the circuit breakers out if they're not already out. Whoop. There we go. Some of these circuit breakers are worth money as well, depending upon the amperage or voltage. So we've got 3 out. And the circuit breakers actually have silver contacts in them. I'm not handling them terribly softly or anything, but some of these feel like some of them could still be good. And yeah, if you look up circuit breakers online, you're going to find that some of them are a pretty good value. And if it's a good circuit breaker, even a used one can sell for pretty decent money. So, and I'll leave the testing of them up to you to find online. I'm sure there's somebody that's got a video on testing circuit breakers. But you'll see this older panel, it uses all slotted screws. And yes, it's a fairly clean job. I'm wearing a dress shirt at the moment. A little bit dirty on the hands, but and you can see the everything comes off fairly easy. You're going to have the odd one that's going to get stuck that you have to hit with WD-40 or maybe even some heat, but most of them will come out pretty readily. And there'll be one or two that are used to stick it to the base. In this case, this one's put on by a couple tabs. So what we're going to do is bend the tabs back. Basically, it's suspended on a spring in the middle of the breaker. You can see it kind of wobbling there, but there. So that whole piece can come out pretty readily. And you can take them out in chunks like this and then end up putting them on sitting at your bench and just taking them each chunk apart. So there's a piece there. You'll get some good thick wire as well for stripping. And here's the pieces we released earlier. They come right out. There's some more copper. And this is all copper as well. It looks like these two screws are probably holding it in. And these ones are just for fastening the wires in. And usually they'll be steel. But we'll take those off. So yeah, I'm not sure why guys decide to just scrap the entire unit as steel. It doesn't make any sense to me, but because there is quite a bit of copper in these when it comes down to it, especially the big long ones, because you've got long bars of copper in them, or most of them. So why they're doing that, I don't know. Maybe they've figured out that their time is worth a lot more to them, so, which is possible. Maybe they make more by just scrapping steel. I don't know. But yeah, I'd definitely stock up on the circuit. The circuit breakers and such, and scrap them up. Anyway, it looks like this one is going to be stubborn and it's riveted in, so that'll just take a hammer and that'll be loose. I don't know if there's any other. No, I don't want to be messing around too much because plastic is pretty sharp. It's Bakelite actually is what it is, so it's quite brittle. So it will snap on you. So I don't advise. Let's see. Don't advise trying this necessarily. Oh, there we go. Okay, she's coming off. There's one. And there's two. So, yeah. Fair chunk of copper from all that. Here's what we got. Now I've basically completely taken off all the copper off of both boxes, and didn't get a whole lot out of the big one, of course, because it was mostly already done. I had done most of it previously, and so basically out of that little guy and a little bit out of the big one. we got a pretty good handful of copper here. All clean copper except for that little bit. We've got a good handful there. I'll show you the weight. Not sure if you can see the weight there, but it's 4.7 ounces of copper. So pretty good for just a very quick scrap out. There was a little piece of brass, and I guess I did forget to add this piece of copper as well, but we need to take out this piece of steel. So, not bad for just a little bit of easy work. Nothing really difficult. So yeah, don't throw those panels in the shred without stripping them out first, because there's a good chunk of copper in them. So yeah, got some stripping wire as well. So there's that. Got to come to that at some point. And of course the breakers, which I'll show another video on what I do with these. Not a ton of value in them other than sometimes the silver contacts are a little larger. The household breakers don't necessarily hold large silver contacts, but there's some in there. Anyway, and a bit of copper and brass, of course. So thanks for watching. Happy scrapping.